I quit my job at Goldman Sachs. So why did I do it? Was it the long work hours? Was it the alleged toxic work environment? Was it a feeling of unfulfillment? Was it a lack of promotion at the job? Find out why in this video. Point number one is career growth, right? I was working in Goldman Sachs on the trading floor, focused on risk management around credit trading, corporate bond trading, leverage finance and loan trading. Now, I wanted to cover different products. I wanted to learn about different products. I'd been working in that job for about 3 to 4 years. There wasn't many alternative opportunities there. They had quite a rigid, set, pigeonhole role. And you don't really want to be too pigeonholed in your career that you can only do one thing, trading credit products on the trading floor of a particular investment bank. You want to expound and grow your skill set. Otherwise, you'll have a problem later on in your career being able to find alternative work experience and work opportunities. So for that career growth, I realized that option wasn't available at Goldman Sachs. So I looked externally and managed to find a role at Morgan Stanley just shortly after. That's point number one, is career growth. That's why I left Goldman Sachs. Now, point number two is I wanted to leave Goldman Sachs because they were, at the time, dealing with a change in regional focus. They wanted to focus on growing their European office rather than their London office, where I was based. There was more hiring within the Frankfurt office rather than London. Around the time there was Brexit, I won't get into the politics of that, but that did impact how companies were planning to hire people, focused, as I say, hiring within mainland Europe rather than London. And there was also a lot of regional political related maneuvers. For example, there was, without getting it too into politics again, there was quite a heavy focus on liberalism, feminism, woke culture, things like that, which I wasn't particularly keen on, given it is quite, not in favoritism of views I might hold, and particularly being a man in the workforce. There was a lot of initiatives to benefit women that weren't really to help men. It was kind of disadvantageous to be a man in that type of environment, to a certain extent, in my opinion, of course. So I was thinking, okay, there's a regional shift, there's a bit of a political maneuvering here. You have to be quite heavily pro-EU or say anti-Trump or pro-feminism or pro a lot of the woke culture. It wasn't somewhere I felt too comfortable being in over the long term. So part of that regional shift and the more politicization of the workplace environment wasn't something I was too keen on. So point number three. Now, the final point here is there were a lot of dynamics between myself and the manager at the time. I wanted to have a healthier dynamic with my manager, because the most important person in your life, if you think about it, if you do work a job and you do have one main income source, the most important relationship is the relationship you have with your manager. It's not the relationship you have with your wife or your girlfriend or your kids. Your income source, which determines your ability to survive in a society in this type of system, is the manager you have with your relationship. Do you have a healthy manager with them, relationship with them? Are they going to help you maintain your job security? Are they maybe giving positive or negative feedback to senior management above you as to whether they should keep you hired or fire you? And I wanted a healthy relationship with my manager. And at the time, working at Goldman Sachs, without getting into specifics, it wasn't the best relationship, I'll leave it at that, with that particular manager I was working with. I had to move on to a new role. I wanted a bit more self-respect and dignity within the workplace. And I moved on, as I said, to Morgan Stanley at the time, to a different opportunity. And I think that's very important for you to consider, right? Because you're dealing with your manager on a day-to-day basis, 8 to 10, 12 hours a day, depending on the job you're working on. That's the person you're sitting next to typically throughout the day. You have to learn from them. You have to focus on your ability to progress in your career. Entirely depends in the sense of their perception of you and how they're portraying you to your other contacts within the company. If they're not too keen on you, that could impact your job security, impact your ability to grow and develop your career based on their feedback to others when you're not there in meetings that management have. So it's very important to be aware of that, right? And I hope you really do think about it right now. What is your dynamic with your manager? Is it benefiting you? Is it not benefiting you? Is it holding you back? Do you need to move on because that dynamic's not great? All things to consider. So there's 3 reasons why I quit Goldman Sachs. Number 1, for improved career growth, to learn about new products and trade different products. Point number 2 is a regional focus and a politicization of the work environment. I wanted to be at a company that was more focused on establishing themselves in London, or not being so focused on moving people over to mainland Europe. And point number 3 is having a new manager and a healthier dynamic with my manager. Thanks for listening. There are 2 free videos on your screen right now. There is a free ebook in the description. I'll see you in the next video.